Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be ranking all of my Oden's eye palettes. So I am not the best at ranking. They stress me out a lot, especially when I like all of the palettes. But I have 8 Oden's eye palettes and I wanted to try and rank them, and I think I'm pretty comfortable and confident in what I've ranked. I've done a few other rankings already this month. I feel like that's a good thing to do at the end of the year. And I'm trying to do rankings for everything that I have more than like 4 or 5 palettes from. So I think this might be my last one, but we'll see. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup, which this definitely is. And I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so this one was hard because I do love all of these. I don't want to get rid of any of them. It's not like where sometimes you're like, these kind of meh, and these are good, and these are my favorites. I really like all of them. The top couple I knew, and I'm curious if you'll guess the top couple. You probably will if you've watched my channel or know me. But it was the rest of it that was really hard. It was like, these are my top 2, the rest, I don't know. But I do have them ranked and I'm pretty confident in it. This is another one of my new shirts that I just got. I really love it. It has little plants all over it. I think it's super cute. Makeup will all be in the description box. I am gonna be filming a few videos today, so you'll see this makeup again after this. It's my standard base, a little bit of the Haus Labs foundation around here, some concealer, Haus Labs bronzer, Rare Beauty blush again because I just can't stop using it. And then I have Lisa Eldridge on my eyes, the Liquid Lurex in Anais, which is the pewter with a little bit of a green undertone. And then Trixie Scarlet Letter on my lips, my favorite lip gloss. I had a lipstick on earlier, so that kind of stained them. So it's a little bit more opaque than it might be otherwise, but it's still just the lip gloss. So I do want to preface, I like all of these. I will talk about why they're placed where they are, but I like all of these. So if I put your favorite at the bottom, doesn't mean I still like it. I just like and use the other ones more. So I really like Oden's Eye as a brand. I think they have a really great formula. I wanted to try them when like the Alva palette came out. I had seen the Solmana first palette and the Alva came out and I really liked that, and then Alva 2 came out and I was like, I really like that, and I really wanted to try them, but nothing was like enough that it like made me go for it. And then when they launched the Nars palettes, I was like, yes, need this. I love that they talk about makeup having no gender, because it doesn't. They are just like embrace the colorful, and they have everything is Norse mythology and fairy and folktale inspired, and I really love it. I don't have all of their palettes, obviously. I only have 8, but I really adore the 8 that I have, and there's others I want, I just haven't gotten. So also a bunch of palettes I have from them are collab palettes. I don't personally know any of the people they've collabed with, except for Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. We've done a collab video together and talk periodically. She is a really sweet person, but the other people I follow, but I don't actually know. So just want to put that out there. So in 8th place is going to be the Nars palette. Really love this palette, especially for the shimmers. Love the theme. I really want the little, I think it's the Verdandi palette, the green one. I just haven't gotten it, but really love this. It's one of those, I want it, but I don't need it, so I just keep not getting it. Especially because I have a set budget every month. Really love this. I think the packaging is beautiful. The Nars, if you don't know, are the Norse mythology version of the Greek fates. So there's the past, the present, the future. Really love, I am a mythology nerd. Mythology and folklore were actually how I got started in anthropology. Even though I don't do cultural anthropology, I am a biological anthropologist and paleoanthropologist and study bones, hence the name Queer Bones. But what made me take my first anthropology class was an interest in folklore and an interest and thoughts about going into folklore studies. Because it's been one of my favorite things since I was a kid. So it was anatomy, and then I went with anatomy. but really love this. Very long-winded so far. The reason this is at the bottom is the mattes. I think this is where the formula, most people say, went from like good to really good, and it's just improved. And I can see an improvement from this onward. The mattes in here are a little harder to work with. Not that they're hard to blend, it's just that there isn't a light shade to blend them out with. They're all pretty dark. And they do blend nicely, just not as nice as the newer ones. The only lighter shade is a gray, which isn't my favorite. This iridescent multi-chrome up here, duochrome, is really beautiful, but mine does have some hard pan. Really love this green here. And really, the reason I love this palette so much is these bottom 4 shades. They're beautiful, a couple of them are shifty. They're just, I'll swatch this one. They're just so pretty. Like, you can see how shiny that is. They're not as special, and you can see they're like not picking up as well as some of the newer palettes, but they're really special. Really, really love these. These look beautiful on the eye, and I'm a sucker for blues and purpley tones. So this is a purple with a blue shift. So of course I'm gonna love that. So the next palette is one that came out this year, and I really do like this. But one shimmer is kind of and then it doesn't have any special shades like any duochromes or multichromes, and that's why it's a little bit lower. But I do really recommend it and like this palette, and it is the Solnana 2 palette. Love the theme. I like the tie-dye effect, really pretty. Really like the blushes and stuff that came out with this collection. I bought everything myself. Obviously, they don't know I exist. Really like this color story. This shade here, Starry Skies, wasn't the best. It looks really beautiful and I was excited for it, but it was fallout prone, which they're not normally. It was just like not enough binding agent, so that was a little bit of a problem. And there aren't too many duochromes or multichromes in this, which they normally do have in their palettes. But I do like the tones in here a lot. I love this shade. You would think the blues would be my favorite, but it's actually the middle roll, these like purpley tones. And this shade is really beautiful. It works with the purples, the blues, and the orange. Actually, one of my favorite things is the orange and this shade together. Really great. Really love this. Really like the quality in this one. But the other ones all have special shades or something more special to them. So that's why this one is in 7th place. So the rest of them I like. I would say the next 3 or 4 I really like on par with each other. Like, they could all be kind of tied. The top 2 are definitely the top 2, but the next 4 are pretty tied. But I ranked them in how much I use them and how much I grab for them. So the next one is going to be the Hummingbird palette. So this was part of the original Legendary Diversa set. This was with Tina, the Fancy Face. Really love this palette. It's very, very colorful, which is very Tina. Really love this. She went with a Caribbean theme. I really like that. I think it's beautiful. There's some really beautiful tones in here. I don't really use this blue shade here very often. And this hibiscus shade is really the color of hibiscus, which I do love. Hibiscus is another thing that's common in Mexican cuisine too. But it does pull very pink. What I love about this, I like the shimmers a lot. I love all of the shimmers. And then I really love these 3 dark mattes. They're really special, really unique. Really love the shimmers and the 3 dark mattes. So I think she did a great job on this. I think this is a wonderful palette, and I wish you could still buy these. The next palette is also part of the Legendary Diversa set, and it is the Hella palette that was done with Angelica Nyquist. I really like this palette. Love the theming, the packaging. So she is Swedish, so she went with Swedish mythology, of course. Really, really love this. I like the way they turned her into half skeleton. I like the mushrooms and all of that. I think this is beautifully done. Although the skull is not, the skeleton's not the best anatomically, but I'm an osteologist, so that's always gonna be something I'm gonna look at. Like, that clavicle looks weird, but that's beside the point. Really love this warm green tones. This came out earlier this year. They just discontinued this as of Black Friday. That was the last time you could buy it. The only reason this doesn't go higher is, even though I really love soot, River is one of my favorite shimmers out there. Really love these warm greens. I just don't grab it as much as others, or if I do, I grab the same couple shades over again, like these ones right here. I'll grab like Wolf Decay and Golden Bridge or something, or these two. I don't really use the pink shades very often. I just don't really like pink eyeshadow that much, so. But I really love this. I think Angelica did a great job, and if she ever sees this video, again, this and Club Nebula are some of the best palettes I have. Really great job. Coming in fourth place is going to be the Red Dragon palette from Judy. I think this was underappreciated. A lot of people were like, oh, it looks more muted than the others, and they kind of dismissed it. And I think it was the last one to sell out, which I think is sad. I think Judy did a great job on this. I like Judy. I've followed her for a very long time, so I was happy to see her get this collab. I think this is muted in a really beautiful way without being boring. It's got this really beautiful green. It's got an olive shimmer. These tones up here are like my favorite daily kind of shades. I mean, I'm wearing pewter today, but on the daily basis, I wear a lot of olives and these kind of tones up here. And then I don't wear red very often. I don't really like bright red eyeshadow that much on me. But I really like earthy reds and earthy tones like terracotta. And so I really like this like peach tone and these more reddy tones here. I think they work beautifully. They look beautiful. These are the kind of red tones I like. This is a very bright red, but like these 5, 6 shades right here are the kind of red that I like. That like earthy red. That's all I can really say. And I think she did an amazing job on this. Okay, so the next palette, number 3, is also another, most of these have been discontinued, and I apologize for that. Hopefully you have them if you want them. I'm not one of those people that will say like, oh, this palette's not available anymore, I won't show it on my channel. I think that's stupid. I paid money for it, I like it, I'm gonna show it. But this is the Merry Christmas palette. Don't love the theme of this one. I just don't really like Christmas palettes that much. I'm not a big Christmas person. My husband did the Christmas decorations there. Our tree is in front of me. I like Christmas. I like giving people presents, and I like the food and drinking with people, but I don't really have any ties to the holiday itself. But I think this was a beautiful, I also hate red and green as a color combo, but I think this is beautiful. I love the old timey vibe of this. It looks like an old postcard. I think they should sell these as postcards or prints. I think that would be really pretty. Red and green, not my favorite combo, but I think this is a really interesting take on this. And the reason it outranked the Judy palette is because the shimmers in here are all really special. This multi-chrome Elf Wish is so beautiful. You can see that kind of peachy red shift in there. I like the greens in here. The reds are really pretty. I think this dark red is another, like a blood red, dark red is the way I like red. But the shimmers in here are all really special and really beautiful. Like I just want to use these so much. These are really special. Even if I just did a neutral look with like gingerbread only in the crease, you could wear so many of these really beautiful shimmers or just them by themselves. And that's why this ranked a little higher as the shimmers. They're truly special. They're really beautiful. I'll put these two right here. This one's kind of a like almost translucent peachy base, and then this really beautiful green flash. And this is that bronze green that I love. I think if you're gonna do a Christmas palette, that's how you do it. Really special. Okay, so coming in at number 2 is going to be what used to be my number 1, and it is the Giant Wolves palette from Annette. I adore this palette. Annette and I have different makeup, different ways of doing our makeup and different vibes overall, but we like and gravitate towards the same tones, I think. And these are all of my favorite colors. You've got blue, you've got these kind of purpley tones, but like an interesting purple. You've got olive grungy tones. You've got a really nice black. The shimmers in here are all really special. I love this palette so much. I wish this was permanent. It's so beautiful. This is a Colin palette. The only thing, like if this blue is a little less bright, would maybe be the only thing that I would ever change for me. And maybe make this more of a lilac. but I think she did an amazing job curating this, and I wouldn't actually change it as itself. Just like if it was the Colin version, there'd be a couple tweaks. Love this, but like Antipode, Flare, these kind of shades up here are the ones that I really love. These are really good. Dark mattes, the bluey base multichrome in here, beautiful. I love that these all have at least one multichrome in them too, so love these. Number one, is not gonna be a surprise at all to most people if you've watched my channel lately or know me, or know what Oden's Eye has, and it is the Christmas Eve palette. This is a perfect Colin palette. I love this so much. It's got blues and they go really, really dark, which is what I love. You've got this like olivey color right here. You've got a green here that is like my favorite kind of green, like a muted green. This mauvey tone is really beautiful and doesn't look like a bruise or ashy on me. The shimmers in here are all special. I really love this kind of taupey shade as a one and done. I think they did an amazing job on these palettes, and this one especially is so perfect. It's cool tones, but not fully. You've still got some warmth from like the olive and this yellow and the bronzy tones. And one of my favorite things to do is like blue mattes with bronze or gold shimmers, or like this kind of a tone with blue shimmers. So this works perfectly, or blue and silver, blue and taupe. I think this is perfect. And there's that taupey shade, really beautiful. I just wish that those were still available for people who wanted them, but you know, things happen, manufacturing delays, you know. I think probably was one of those things, even though it was before Thanksgiving when they discontinued it, it was like, if they try to make more, they're not gonna be done in time for Christmas, so what's the point? I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. So I understand it, even if it's sad. Okay, so that is my ranking. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you would rank these, what you would pick as your top couple, especially. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.